Team on me.
Team on 3.
1, 2, 3. Team. Let's dominate today, Derek. Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to Ferris Farming Organic. Today, we're going to attempt to harvest some oats. Switching things up a little bit today. As you guys can tell, we're not in a combine, we are in a grain cart, which honestly I'm kind of fine with. Thomas to Jacob, there's nothing in this grain cart, correct?
No, there's not.
10-4. Did this scale work better than the other one, or which scale was the one that was dialed in?
Yeah, that scale works good. The other one, I fixed a few wires on there, so we'll see how that works.
10-4, yeah, I'll zero it out and stuff. Honestly, I like being around the harvest time, especially during oats, during the fall. I mainly do tillage, so I'm not really around the combines as much. So during oat harvest, I enjoy being in either the grain cart or combine. Don't really care too much, I just kind of like being in the field. Grain cart is also the first thing that I ran during harvest, which I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to. As kids, I'm sure a lot of your dads or older brothers, uncles, whatever, ran the combine, you ran the grain cart. And that's kind of the same thing I did growing up. So it's kind of nostalgic. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into today's video. You know, the intrusive thought of the day is go jumping in Mike's combine because he's not at work yet. We won't do that, because if Mighty Mike's happy, that means everybody's happy. So we're gonna try to keep Mighty Mike happy today. To me, that's kind of the job of the grain car driver, is to make sure the combines never stop and the trucks start or keep going. I mean, which is pretty self-explanatory, I would think. But I've come to realize, as the YouTube channel has gotten a little bit wider of a reach, some people don't know that, so trying to be educational, emphasis on the try. Anyway, I'm sure as the day goes on there'll be more entertaining stuff to film than right now, but let's try to get some combines going first. Jacob, what's your combine saying for moisture now?
I'm in very green stuff right now, and it's up to 20, 21 right here.
Okay, it's not ideal, but is it cutting good?
Yeah, I think so. And it's more just when I get a bunch of green in there when it jumps like that.
Yep, 10-4. Looks like the rest of the field's pretty clean, so hopefully it just keeps working better and better as the day goes on. I'm sure it will. Yo, D Money, I'm gonna hop out and check behind your combine quick.
Alright.
So as a grain cart operator, obviously you have time where you're just kind of sitting and waiting. So a good thing to do is go behind the combine and check for grain loss physically. They do have stuff in the cab that says grain loss, but you don't know for sure if you don't check. So ideally you'd have like a little pan that you'd sit behind the combine and then let it go over it so you don't have to dig through all this stuff. But what we do is we make about a square foot, and you dig around and see how many kernels you can find. Obviously with oats, there's a lot of stuff that comes out the back, so it's kind of hard. But usually the full, I guess, oats fall through to the bottom, but I'm not seeing anything here, which is really good. I guess there's one, but 1 per square foot, I don't think is very much. Yeah, I guess I dug in 3 spots and I only found 1 kernel per square foot, so I think you're good. Not sure if that's right, I don't know if I recorded it, but I think it's 1 kernel per square foot is a bushel per acre. Could be wrong, I'm not sure on oats. I think that's what it is for corn. Oats could be a little bit different, but we'll take 1 kernel on the ground through those combines. I'm sure some guy that runs Case or Kloss is gonna say, Well, my combines don't put any oats through the combine. And that's because your combine's not running. It's because it's broke down. That was a joke, people. It's too early in the morning to start fighting, but just thought I'd slip that in there. I'm pretty petty about that stuff. Anywho, looks like that grain car's about to be full. I think there's only one truck up there. Hopefully some more trucks start showing up. Hopefully Mike starts showing up. Buenos dias, Albert.
Albert.
10-4, buddy.
You said, Albert, to Jacob, you said just go drop this off the truck already, right?
So once I pull under the combine and my machinery sync connects, I link up with the combine and my speed is locked and my movement is locked to the combine. So he can actually move me, kind of the same control arm as on the combine. Back here, there's buttons. You can just push forward and backwards to move the grain cart where you want. You can also move it side to side. And every time he changes speed, my tractor and grain cart do the exact same speed change, if that makes sense. Makes it just a little bit easier and kind of hands off. You're kind of taking out one human element of unloading on the go, which is kind of nice. And so far this year, Machine Sync has worked great. Does have issues sometimes, but usually the old farmer fix works where you just turn the key off, kill the battery switch.
This was very smart of me to do the green
It works.
strip.
Ryder's gonna be famous. Ryder's gonna be famous.
Maybe we'll get paid this month.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Tell him I appreciate it.
He's probably made you a couple pennies.
He probably has. Tell him if he wants to come take the camera today, you sure can. He can interview you in the cab.
I think he's going fishing later. Maybe he'll take it with him then.
There we go.
We're still pulling trucks off the field, so that's great.
Yeah, if the trucks are moving, that's always a good sign. Turns out I misheard Jacob. The trucks aren't moving, the trucks are stuck. Turns out when it rains, and then you come back to harvest the next day, and the water hits the dirt and becomes mud, the trucks don't work very well, especially when they're loaded. But at least the combines are working, and I think the moisture's down to about 15%, so things are looking up. Well, unless you're driving truck, but you know. I think we need some bigger tractors. This thing barely pulls this grain cart once in a while. Since the field's a little wet, what we're gonna have to do is have the trucks kind of pull up in the field entrance right there. I'm just gonna have to pull a little bit on the road to finish topping the truck off. I'm also gonna have to dump over the tarp. Hopefully Eloy can get out here. Uh-oh. There we go, buddy. Too much Ram, not enough Dodge. I guess that doesn't really make sense in the mud, but yeah.
So you should turn around and take that strip, or I don't know if Mike's going to.
I'd say we're a little full, boys. Actually, doesn't really look that full from the cap, I guess, but we got about 52,000 pounds of oats on, so we're full. Kind of just waiting on trucks right now. The combines are still rolling, but I think they're gonna have to stop before we get empty, which is unfortunate, but it's not really our fault, so could be worse. Grain cart driving is nostalgic. Like I said earlier, it's the first job I did in fall, or harvest time. Like I said before, it's probably the first job most of you guys did, so comment down below your favorite harvest memory. We'll do favorite harvest memory. Maybe next video we'll talk about our favorite farming memory, but I'll quick share my favorite harvest story. I would say my favorite harvest memory is definitely harvesting with my grandpa, my father, and all my brothers. I think that's just kind of cool memory to have. I don't really have a certain moment while we were doing it, but I just remember as a kid riding in the combine with my dad. My grandpa's driving truck, and one of my brothers was driving grain cart. Just that, falling asleep on the floor on the combine. There's a good memories to look back on. Also, harvesting up here in Lake Park and like staying for a week and just living off of like Uncrustables and Hot Pockets is just kind of wild to me. And the people I got to spend time up here with, it's just fun looking back on. So comment down below your favorite harvest memory. Those are some of mine. I'm sure if some other funny story comes to me, I'll tell it, but comment down below your favorite harvest story. Looks like Keith just pulled in, so that's good. We turned our tractor off for 2 minutes, walked over to Jacob and Albert to talk. As soon as we started talking, KVK pulled in, so that's a good thing though. Well, we tried to load a truck in the field. It did not work, so sorry Radar for getting your truck stuck. Mike, do you want a please burger cheese? As you guys can probably tell, this field's still pretty wet, so we're just pulling the trucks kind of straight right there, and then I have to pull up alongside of it and dump. It's kind of annoying because I have to dump over the tarp, and it's not very efficient, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Should probably yeah, hopefully it just dries up. So every time I'm getting loaded and you guys hear that beep, that's the combine moving me back and forth. Just in case you guys were wondering what that beeping sound is.
It's showing here, I don't know what I should do then. It usually goes away by itself. down when they don't too, so we usually check it against that, I guess. Okay, tell Willie to just leave the pickup here, and then you'll probably just have to go back with that truck. That way Grain Cart doesn't have to travel so full.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys can probably tell, we moved fields. We finished that one. That was a half section. I believe this field was a quarter, which means 160 acres. So we should be able to get done if we have trucks and everything works good. Usually that's how things go. It's about 4 o'clock, so we can probably harvest for another 4 hours if conditions allow it. So we should be able to get this knocked out, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Okay, I just have one that says north. Can you share whatever?
Thomas to Lucas, do you got a copy? Fun little memory on this field. I remember the first year out of high school, I was up here moldboard plowing for about 2 weeks in the fall. And I remember being in this field, it was a Friday night, and all I had to eat that day was Hot Pockets and pizza rolls. I remember being in a K-Squad, and instead of the heating pot I have now and all the new stuff I have now, I had this cigarette lighter little heated lunchbox where you had to plug it in. It took about 30 minutes to get warm, and then it only stayed warm for about 10 minutes. So I remember eating like half frozen pizza rolls. Well, not really, they're like mush, because I didn't have a fridge in that tractor or a lunchbox. So I was just eating like mushy pizza rolls for an entire day. And I don't know why I just thought of that, but I don't know. It's crazy to see how far we've come. And this field looks pretty clean, so we're gonna test that to my moldboard plowing job I did 5 years ago. Probably not, but we're gonna go with it. Well, boys and girls, I think we're gonna call it a video. So as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you're not subscribed. I think we're closing in on 23,000 maybe. I don't know, but thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you in the next one.